sensational stuff. But the central bank responded to this allegation, Emmanuel. There's a taped conversation. Again, our listeners have been sending this to me, asking that we talk about it this morning. There was a taped conversation between the central bank governor
and the Sahara reporters.
Yeah, right. He's talking. It's a taped phone conversation that they apparently got a hold of. They've put out a YouTube link. Sahara reporters, and I have to emphasize this heavily, they are alleging. Exactly.
500 billion naira.
Yes, they have saying that 500 billion naira was somehow stolen, and that that the conversation between the central bank governor and a number of other issues, the deputy governor Edward Adamu, director of finance Ayo Mairo Ese, and other, I think the special advisor to the governor Emmanuel Adeleke. Yeah. These are the 4 individuals that were talking on the tape. You can hear all them talking and so on and so forth. So Emmanuel, help us out. Let's where do we begin? Now, of course, the CBN responded.
Yeah. So the CBN responded yesterday by releasing a press release
on a Sunday.
Yeah, on a Sunday.
When last did the CBN release a press release on a Sunday?
Just to tell you how very, very important this is.
Right.
So first of all, personally, I feel the report from Sahara reporters is quite misleading.
Okay.
So what actually happened based on CBN was that after the external auditors audited their 2018 numbers, they discovered that about 150 billion naira from a 650 billion loan exposure they are granted to state governments in 2015. So in 2015, the CBN, in conjunction with the federal government, they granted about 650 billion naira as a bailout fund to the state government, and it was meant to be repaid, I think, over a 20-year time.
Okay.
So following the audit of the 2018 financials of CBN, I think the external auditors discovered that about 150 billion naira out of that 650 billion naira exposure should be classified as a non-performing loan, as a bad loan.
Okay.
Yeah. So if they should do this, definitely that would just take the central banks retained shareholders fund actually from a positive figure to a negative figure.
Okay.
So I think based on the recordings from all we had, the CBN government mentioned that the CBN has a 34 billion naira shareholders fund.
Yeah.
And they should take the 150 billion naira
from that
150 billion naira hit.
It will be
that will just change everything to negative.
And I have to jump in here. If we've tweeted the link, it's on YouTube. We've retweeted. If you want to listen to it, you can skip ahead to the 6 minutes 40 seconds. He sounded so dramatic. It was like it was a movie.
So
he said, I think I remember what he said. He said, "Wow, this will be the first time in the history of the central bank that we have a negative shareholders funds." And it was like, "Hey, my God, what are we going to do?" It was so dramatic. So you guys should listen to that link. Very, very interesting. But continue, Emmanuel.
So I really saw how concerned it was. What was quite surprising to me is that. Actually, central banks financials is not the same thing with other corporates.
Right.
So an accounting equity is not really relevant compared to a corporate firm. So by a corporate firm, when its liabilities is more than its assets, it means that the particular company may not be able to meet its future obligations, which is a very, very bad thing for such company. But coming to the case of the central bank, the central banks have a lot of different parameters just to maintain a positive accounting equity.
Okay.
A positive accounting equity. So the accounting equity is not really relevant to the central bank. So I feel it's just a way to just avoid public scrutiny also.
And also from investors as well.
Exactly.
Well, but we were talking about this holding the states accountable as well as companies. Let me read. Also, the press release is out on the CBN's website. We've also tweeted that as well. Okay, no, sorry, we haven't tweeted out the central bank's press release. I'll put that out after the show. But let me read this portion of what they said here. Okay, so in closing, the bank's 2018 accounts, external auditors in their draft account erroneously. I'm reading the CBN's take, as what Emmanuel has already explained. Erroneously classified about 150 billion of these loans as bad, which negatively affected the bank's balance sheet and shareholders fund. Now, they said that obviously it soon became clear that a state government loan cannot be classified as bad or irrecoverable when the state still exists and is getting FAC allocations. So let us address that.
So apparently, the Central Bank of Nigeria were able to get a writing from the Ministry of Finance to write to the external auditors that those loans are performing based on the fact that these states are still existing and they keep on getting FAC allocation. However, if I had to look at the usual regulation and standard by which you classify non-performing loan, this should not be a basis to mention that a loan is performing
because you are existing.
It's actually based on the probability of on how probable you'll be able to get your money back from such company or from such state. So I feel the external auditors, they did their work. They discovered that most of these states, in fact, some of these states are even owing salaries. There are a lot of debt. They have a lot of pressures on them. So they felt that the probability that they will get this 650 billion naira back might not be very possible. Exactly. So they felt that, okay, you have to classify about 150 billion naira of this as bad. So apparently, I think the central bank was just able to get a writing from the Ministry of Finance
to try and cover
to just try to
Very interesting. All right, so that's the gist of it, Emmanuel. Thank you very much. So there was, I mean, as far as, and in fact, when the phone conversation starts, you can tell that they didn't start from the beginning. They just cut out somewhere.
Exactly. So that was where I see what
so there's just to allay any fears. So we don't believe there's any 500 billion that's been stolen anywhere. It's just an issue of state debt. But this brings up the conversation again, Emmanuel, about the ability of the states in Nigeria to be able to pay back these debts that they've been owing. It's still a continuing conversation.
It's a very big concern.
Yeah.
Recent data was even released by NBS some few weeks back.
Bureau of Statistics.
From Nigeria Bureau of Statistics. Those showed how high some of these states debts are. The numbers are just very glaring. Moreover, when you now even compare their debts to total revenue they have in terms of IGR and FAC allocation,
it's not enough.
You see that they are so.
So if one wants to look at the solution to this system we have where everything comes from the central government and then is distributed out to the states, it makes a case, I don't know, I'll ask you, of the states to be independent, so they can generate their own revenue on their own.
Yeah, so I actually felt this particular case was just a kind of let me say, should I say no, because in 2015 that was actually an event that followed the crash in oil
prices, right,
which actually
affects FAC
allocation. But when you look at IGR, which is actually meant to be the major source of income for this state, IGR is very, 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 very poor. The only states that have very, very, very reasonable IGR is just the Lagos state government and Ogun state government.
And that's it. Maybe Delta or Rivers.
I even feel it's just those two states that have reasonable IGR. The rest, most of them largely depend on FAC allocation.
Oh, wow. And that's why you keep seeing people trooping into Lagos looking for jobs and so on and so forth.
Messages. All right. Paul sent in this one on WhatsApp, says, but I doubt if it's all about the bad loans. After all, no one takes the hit on credit losses once, because if it was bad loans, it could be spread out over some years. So I doubt if it's because of bad loan classification. There's more that meets the eye.
So you see, and this is, I don't blame Paul. I don't blame anybody else who believes that there's more to this, because transparency. Emmanuel, we're talking downstairs. The central bank has not released.
So the last consolidated financial statement we could find on their site was 2015 financials.
Central bank has not released this, and then yes, when companies don't release their own financials, they get fined from the SEC. But the central bank has not released its financials since 2015. I mean, come on now. This is why people will believe Sahara reporters when stuff like this comes up. But again, we do not believe that. I mean, come on. You have to provide proper evidence. All right, more messages.
Ibrahim says, so if a company is still generating cash and has passed the due obligations to a financial institution, we cannot classify it as bad. That's bad precedence.
Ibrahim Matayo.
And then this other one from Olufemi. Olufemi says, please, who are the external auditors of CBN?
Good question.
So, that 2015 financials, the external auditors audited the numbers were PwC and Ernst & Young.
So that's who we can go by. Yeah, it's still them, Abi.
Yeah.
Okay. And Papike says, Uncle got the enemies. when you get nominated for the second term, it's expected.
This was very interesting, Abi.
And then just a week after,
1 week after that.
So the level of conspiracy going on at the top echelon in the country, you'd be scared and think we should start praying for the betterment of the nation. How did we get here? If it's just an accounting why the fuss? And the auditors are supposed to dance to their turn. Auditing is about reporting what they see and how they feel about the process. That's all. I believe Sahara, he said.
See?
So if it was wrong, why don't they threaten to sue? And Harry says, the Ministry of Finance is actually correct. IPSA's valuation of public entities is different from IFRS and IAS. And evaluation of bad debt is one of the most subjective aspects of accounting.
Okay.
And MI from Africa says, this story has the word misleading written all over it. The external auditor Stick to the Apex Bank is not helping though. Their financials are opaque as a brick wall.
And that is why we have suspicion from Nigerians.
And Solomon here says, well, I disagree with your analyst. Recoverability of the state's debt is not based on sentimental parameters like payments of salaries. The existence of a steady stream of the federal allocations provides an opportunity for a direct debit by CBN. Before remitting any balance to the state.
Thank you for that, Solomon. So, but they haven't been able to recover this debt since that time, which is why the auditors now reacted and said what they did. So I don't know. I mean, but that's fine if you're free to disagree. What else is out there?
Esther says, "Good morning. This is a big indictment on the CBN. Meanwhile, what is CBN's plan for Heritage Bank?"
Esther, we'll have to get back to you on that one. That one is
CBN supported.
You're still supporting them, yeah.
And Yinko says, "Good morning, gentlemen. I still think something was wrong. No report in 3 years, 2016 to 2018. States are directly debited before payments of the federal allocations."
Thank you for that, Yinko. So what? Look, this story is not going away. Okay. Well, Valentine, what time we have? 2 minutes. Real quick. So we talk about NERC.
Yeah.
Real quick. Headline from that we're seeing from NERC. Don't pay for electricity after 2 weeks of outage. NERC, that is the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, announces new regulations. Emmanuel, what do you think about this? I know people will jump for joy. If there's an outage, you don't have to pay any lights. But real quick.
So what happens to the bill that they gave me over the weekend that I paid? Did I get a refund?
So what actually happened was in 2018, the NERC came up with a new regulation. So they established a new regulation which involved metered
asset providers.
Asset providers to provide their meters to consumers. So this just shifts this away from the distribution discos.
Okay.
So I think what we're just saying is that the NERC was just retreating on the regulations. So they mentioned that if after payments and this map don't deliver this meters to you within 2 weeks or so,
you don't have to pay.
You don't have to pay. And again, if there's a power outage for more than 2 weeks, you don't have to pay electricity and charges.
Okay.
So presently now, I think it's just Abuja and Jos distributing companies that have implemented this mark.
Okay.
So I think a few weeks back, Abuja just issued licenses to about 2 different vendors to issue meters to consumers. So we're still waiting the other 9 states to
come on board.
Yeah.
But I think the key thing there is that it's 2 weeks. So there've been some announcements recently about outages. I remember there was one last week or so.
There was one
some weeks back. But the issue is it has to be for at least 2 weeks before you don't pay for it. So I guess that's the question here. Okay, interesting.
So we should wait to not have light for 2 weeks before reports.
That's if the outage lasts that long. But that's the question. They can now come and say, well, we fixed the outage.
We gave you lights on Friday. Also.
Right, so the outage was only 1 week. You don't have to pay. All right, Emmanuel of ARM, thank you so much for joining us and helping us to explain what's going on. Thank you all for your messages. Hey, look, I see more messages. If you believe Sahara, that's fine. But we don't. I guess it's just a matter of seeing how this story unfolds. But the CBN has released their press release. I'll tweet that. Please read the press release out from the CBN and then, I guess, judge for yourself. But thank you all for your messages.
Rotus' Twitter handle is at Rotan.
Yeah. They want to spell it for them. Go ahead.
Yes, please.
Okay. ROTANKWOT. You've been spelling it for the last few weeks, so I wanted you to spell it ROTANKWOT. I'll tweet the press release as well so everybody can read it.
All right, follow him so you can catch all that. Thank you very much, Mano.
All right.
Coming up next at 7:30, we'll bring you detailed analysis of our newspaper stories this morning. But between now and then, enjoy some great music. It's Smooth 98.1.